Welcome. Thank you for showing up. It's been some time now that there's been a narrative out there that's trying to convince us that we are more divided than ever. And there's plenty of evidence to point to support that, such as there is with anything that we want to believe or we feel keeps showing up in our awareness when messages keep coming from different places. It's easy to believe what's being messaged to us, especially the more frequently it shows up, and also how intensely those messages show up, how they're packaged in whatever the circumstances are. And the people around us, if it's people around us, near us, so proximity, if the people around us seem to be more divided, or we seem to be more divided with people, then that would certainly support that narrative that we are more divided than ever with everything going on. But the truth is that we are only divided in our minds. We're only divided in our thinking. Even science now, quantum entanglement, supports the truth that we are interconnected, we are one. All of the ancient truths, the ancient religions, the ancient wisdom tells us and has told us for eons that we are one. And the more that we can connect with that and engage with that and live in that and from that reality that we are one, the more we will experience it in our world, in our inner worlds. As we experience it in our inner worlds, we will see it, experience it in our outer worlds. The more we look for it in our outer worlds, the more we will experience it. The more we speak the truth of it, the more we will find evidence of it in our worlds. So the question is, what are we aligning with? What messages are we aligning with? Are we aligning with all of antiquity, wisdom of the ancients, the ascended masters, all of our spiritual history that has told us that we are one? Or do we buy into what is showing up in our world when it comes to so many things? For example, war. Israel, Hamas, the US and Iran, Croatia and Russia. When it comes to politics in America, Democrats versus Republicans, blue versus red. When it comes to this ideology and that ideology, and there's so much diversity of ideology, and it's a beautiful thing if you embrace it, when you embrace it. And that's the case for diversity across the board. It is a beautiful thing. We can stand in our oneness and celebrate it together. Not that we need to agree with one another or be on the same page politically, ideologically, spiritually, or any other way. We can simply align in celebrating our differences, align in celebrating our diversity. That's part of the beauty of being liberated from the inside out, is experiencing the diversity of others and their thoughts and their actions, their behaviors, their appearances, and celebrating for what they are without needing to change anything. So as we surrender to the reality of who we are, we open up to miracles. We open up to what God can do and what God is doing all day, every day, inside of us, outside of us, around us, For ultimately, there really is no outside. So I want to offer up a prayer. I ask you to join me in, that we would align with and awaken to the reality of our divinity, our oneness, our unity. This is unity consciousness, knowing, awakening to being aware of who we are truly. Thank you for this day, this time, this weather, this earth, this stillness, this calm, for this peace, for this pause, for this place where we can connect with and feel and experience you, me, us, together as one, never anything but one, always one, all one. Help us wake up to be aware of our unity, aware of our consciousness, aware of what we are aligning with, aware of what we are speaking, aware of what we are living, aware of what we are surrounding ourselves with. Help us be ever aware of the possibilities that are here as we tap into and live from in the reality of our oneness in you, in the divine, infinite. Help us to feel infinite. Help us to experience and live infinite. Help us to see the infinite with our eyes, perceive perspective of the infinite, have the wisdom, God's eyes, to see the truth that flows like a river, that flows like a rushing, roaring river, moving, carrying, washing, cleansing everything that doesn't belong, that isn't true, that isn't alive, that isn't real. Help us to have perspective to see, to feel, to hear, to be at one with our true nature, to see ourselves as the divine spark, the divine reality of who we truly are. Help us to see our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our friends, our neighbors, our co-workers, and all others as us. Help us to move away from othering, away from categorizing, classifying, away from putting them in a box, placing them in a place with labels. Help us to move away from the labels and simply embrace ourselves and one another, each other, as we are now. Help us to feel in the present the aliveness that flows in and around us all day, every day. Help us to feel and hear the crackling of life, the amazing fire that is always burning, that is love, that is love, that is love in, around, through us. Help us, angels, to speak softly, commanding, forcefully, patiently, lovingly, in light. Rishimikitala, Urtobala itala sambili, Ertemekilo urtamala, Rete asamala, Urtobala, Mukuyabalari, Retibisistili, Lurtama, Alamaki, and elevate our own psyche, our own beingness, our own thoughts, our own presence to share, to bring as a gift to one another, to hold one another in love and light, in truth, and speak power to the mirror that is our friend, and speak power, life to the mirror that is our family. Speak power, life to those that we in the past had demonized and villainized, to those that we mistrusted, to those that we despised, to those that we hated for what they were doing. May we speak power, life to those that we have blamed, to those that we have held responsible. Now, we speak love, encouragement, compassion, light into the hearts of men, of women, of children. We speak with the knowingness, the knowledge of our oneness, of our divinity that we share together. Thank you for your presence, for how you're moving, for what you're doing, for the fun we're having here in the playtime that we get to have together. Came here to play. Let's do this. Amen. Amen. Thank you.